Hi everyone, Lucas from EYExplore here. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I have my friend Pierre on the line with me through Skype, and we're going to do a little photo critique session of his work to hopefully give him some feedback so he can improve on his photos. But first, a little bit about Pierre. Pierre, can you say hi to everyone and introduce yourself?
So my name is Pierre, and I started photography 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm,
Working in tourism industry, I see a lot of beautiful landscape and temples in Japan.
mm-hmm.
So my interest for photography came from that. And nowadays, I'm trying to do a street photography. I don't think I'm good, but I try
Mm,
to improve. So I'm very happy that you will have
mm.
an eye on my work.
So look at this first one here, first one in the folder. Now, before I say anything, I want to, of course, just hear a little bit from you. How did you see this? Did you have this idea right away, or did it happen kind of by accident and you snapped it in the moment?
No, I didn't have any idea.
Hmm.
I didn't say her to stand there.
Mm-hmm.
You can see she's laughing and she's kind of natural. I just thought maybe the reflection and the
Mm-hmm.
light will do something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She just passed right away, and I took 4 or 5 shots.
I
And
see.
after when I realized this one was perfect, I thought it
Mm.
was cool photo.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't thought anything. Just I wanted to have the light, the green, and of course, we were. I was not prepared, so the ISO is super high because it was nighttime. I think, yeah,
Yeah, it's very, very high. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that would be my kind of just first technical feedback is, although it is dark, you're shooting at 125th of a second, right? And if you lower that to say even a 30th, which is quite slow, but for this situation I think would be fast enough, then the ISO would become only 3200, which would make, would reduce this noise here. But that's a kind of a side point, right? That's not the main issue. Um, I think overall I like this photo. I like the concept. I think it's very clever. When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, it does look exactly like a backpack. My
mhm,
main feedback would be just to help bring attention to the subject, right,
yeah,
which is here. I think we don't need this stuff here, so if we could remove, this stuff, right?
yeah,
Maybe even this thing if possible. This, of
yeah.
course, this here cannot be removed, so it'll just kind of be in the frame. So to that
Okay,
end, what I would say is you could have gotten a little bit maybe closer to the scene, at
yeah,
least removing these things down here because this is quite distracting.
okay,
So the overall, idea is with this kind of photo is you want to draw attention to your subject, so less is more, right? You want to simplify what's there.
yeah,
Um, yeah, in this case, if you couldn't get closer, perhaps just aiming the camera more in this direction. Whoops. So if you point the camera up there like that,
yeah,
then you wouldn't have these things here. This would leave the frame, and then you would have more focus. You would maybe see something up here. Sorry, up here something would appear, but maybe there's nothing too dark or distracting up there.
mm,
Okay, so that's
okay,
my feedback. But I do love the concept. I think it's great. And then if the ISO was lower, that would also help kind of bring out the quality in the picture. But that's the second thing. Okay, so this photo. Again, what were you thinking before I say anything? What were you thinking about this shot?
I thought, yeah, I was playing there, and I wanted to do something cool with a reflection. And in the first character you can see is
Hmm.
seems like a, politician going on
Mm-hmm.
something, or some man very like confident about himself. And
Mm-hmm.
after you have that that scene, so yeah, I was playing with reflection. I took 2 or 3 shots, and I kept this one. So yeah, it was what I wanted to do.
Hmm. Okay, cool. Again, I like the concept. I think it's a very good idea. My feedback would be that because it's a reflection, with the reflection, we're going for this symmetry, right? Everything
Yeah.
is beautifully cut, right down the middle like this here, right?
Mm.
But if we look at the outsides of the image, here we have this man, okay, and then this kind of space here. But on the other side, we have these extra things. So one
Yeah.
small thing that you can do right away to kind of increase the balance of the photo is crop this area here out so that this is just gone from the
Okay.
image. Okay, that would just very easy. You can do this, of course, even now. You don't need to go back and take it again. Um,
Okay.
that's the first thing that is, like I said, I think an easy fix. But the other thing
Yeah.
is, I like the subject. He is really cool. As you said, he looks sort of like a kind of a politician or something. He has this quality to him, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that he was probably not there very long. He might have left very soon, so that was your only chance to get him.
Yeah.
But my question for you is, how many photos did you take there? How long did you stay in this scene waiting for different people? Did you spend a lot
Uh,
of time?
maybe around 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
First, you can see on the left part the
Mm.
reflection. I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to take picture where we're coming down, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and play with that, but it was not really interesting.
Mm.
So I didn't add the good character, the good subject and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
finally, I focus up, and
Mm.
I 2 or 3 shots.
So I guess, I mean, again, I'm not going to say, oh, you should have done this or that, because that was your situation and you did how you did. But I guess my overall feedback would be that this is a cool concept. But I'm sure if you come back to this spot and try this concept again and again,
Yeah,
eventually you could get an even better moment here. Because the reason I say this is he's pretty good, but this guy, and this girl don't really need to be in the photo, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, currently the ad up here is sort of not really, it's just kind of there. It's not like part of the scene, you know? So I
Mhm.
wonder if finding a subject that can match the ad, or of course, if you come back in a few months, the ad might be different, you know?
Yeah,
So my feedback is that this is something I do for myself is I might have a photo like this where it's like pretty good and I like the concept, but it's not 100% what I want. So what I do is I go back to the spot again and again and I keep fishing for a slightly better version of the photo. Pardon the interruption. I just want to let you know that we are also offering a photo critique service on our website. If you'd like to sign up, please check the link in the description below. Now, back to the video. So this next photo, what can you tell me about this one?
About this one, I'm kind of a lazy photographer. I'm not a
Mm.
professional, so I
Mm-hmm.
do that as a hobby. So I'm not going into places and waiting and know the shoot will be good. I take a look and I say, oh, there are tiny space there.
Mm.
And I wanted to have a character, so maybe I took maybe 20,
Mm.
30 picture, and this red girl appears. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think I was pretty lucky.
No, I think, but you said you took 20, 30 photos or something like that. So
Yeah,
definitely, luck is where this is a thing. I don't remember who first said this, but is when opportunity meets preparation. So you were ready to take the photo, and then you had the opportunity, and you were able to take it. And I really like this photo. I think this is a great photo. Again, the subject is really cool because she's really pops against the blues. There's this little red object up here which matches with her, which is nice. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I wonder if this was another person walking by too. They were together, so you really got the moment there. Um, in terms of like the ISO, I think you're right not to care about the ISO. I think that's the ISO that was needed because with these settings here, there
yeah,
was not much more you could do. That's the maximum aperture for that lens. That's already a pretty slow shutter speed. So, going slower could be tricky. So that's the ISO you needed. So that's fine. But other things that I like that you put this off center so that there is really a lot of negative space here, right? Which helps drive the thing. If you put her in the exact center, it wouldn't be as strong, I think. Also, she is going this way,
yeah.
so it creates the opposite effect, like where this the subject is moving into that negative space. So there's a nice balance there.
Okay,
Also, I will say that I like this geometry here. I like that there's this kind of shape here and then on the other side, which again kind of creates this vertical kind of motion or feeling of dynamic kind of movement. So overall, I don't know how consciously you did it. I hope you were very conscious of it. Seems like you were, but this is a very well composed photo. I like the composition in this photo
thank you very
quite a
much.
lot. Yeah.
I will be honest.
Mm,
I just like the space, but I
mm,
didn't thought about everything you said,
mm.
and it's very interesting because next time I will take picture, I will think about that.
Yes, good. That's my hope is that because I know the same. Sometimes I take a photo without consciously being aware of what I did. And then later when I look at it, when I analyze it, I learn a few things. So this is definitely a technique that you can use. I really like the use of negative space and the overall composition. So very great photo. So this is a funny one. What can you tell me about this shot?
So I was hanging in Silver Pavilion in Kyoto, and I saw that guy, and I just take instinctively the shot like that.
Overall, I like what you went for because the frame is a little bit angled. It's not straight. You can see the buildings in the back are kind of, this way. So there's this, you're not holding the camera straight because and that's a good thing. Um, I wonder if maybe changing the angle enough that this leading line of the hose or the pipe, right, would
Yeah,
actually be coming from the corner like this. That
yeah,
might make it a little bit more dynamic, which means you would have to rotate the frame actually a little bit more even, right?
yeah.
Um, the other thing is this, I'm not sure if this is needed, so I wonder if just cropping here, this stuff, let's just get rid of it like this would be better. So I don't mean necessarily cropping now in post, but I mean just when you were framing, you could have potentially eliminated this. I don't know if it's like really necessary, but I think it could have made the frame a little bit stronger. I don't know what is up here, right? So maybe
Yeah.
there was some other stuff there that's more distracting. So if you aim the camera higher, it would be worse. But those are just things that pop into my mind. But overall, I like the moment and the blue of everything. The blue here, his jacket and the hose, and even this concrete down here, this stone is blue. So to that end, maybe getting rid of the green would
Yeah.
be also another way you can do. Maybe instead of what I just said of aiming more up, you could aim more downwards. Whoops, and then get rid of this bit and have a bit more of this. That could be an option as well.
Okay.
All right. In fact, if I just do something like this, you see, how about like that? I have
Yeah.
no way to crop it here, but kind of like this idea as well. It's a simpler photo, right? And it really emphasizes the blue stuff in the photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, cool moment. Let's go
Thanks.
to the next one. What were you thinking when you shot this one? What was your goal here?
I was lucky. I
Hmm.
wanted to play with light, so I have a tripod. And this girl, she was late for the
Hmm.
crossing to pass
Hmm.
the, you know.
Hmm.
So she was just standing in front of the camera.
Hmm.
So that is just luck. So I was lucky about this one because I prepare my tripod. I was waiting to shoot, I don't know, do you say in English that the light painting kind of things?
Yeah, a long exposure, right? You were gonna
Yeah,
get the light trails of the cars. I see.
exactly. And the girl was just standing in front of me. So maybe my setting was for 5, 10 seconds. I don't remember, but
Hmm.
I saw the girl. I know she will move, and
Hmm.
if I wanted to keep her, I needed to do 1 second.
Yeah, I like this photo. I was wondering, yeah, why. I mean, I understood just looking at the settings that it's a bit of a long exposure, which is why she's kind of blurry, right? And the motion is there. But I wondered, how did you, because you're not holding it by hand, so thank you for explaining the situation. I think it's a pretty cool shot. I like that. I like the concept. She's a little blurry, but you can still make her out, which is great. It gives the kind of energy of the city. I love
Hmm.
the fact. Honestly, a lot of photographers kind of complain when people are on their phone. It's like, oh, everyone's always on their phone. Their phone is boring. But I love that she's on her phone in this photo. I think it really works because the phone becomes this point of interest. It creates a little bit of this blue light coming up on her, just a little bit. So, and I know that you didn't have much you can do in the moment to work on this photo because it was a very short time, right? But just
Yeah, yeah,
in terms of composition, I actually like, oops, I like this detail here. This is pretty cool. But I don't know if we need that much space back here. If there was,
yeah,
even just cropping this off from here
yeah.
so that we have, her on the right side of the frame and then a bit more on this side because I know she's not looking at over there. She's looking at her phone, but nonetheless, she's kind of pointing this way. So getting a little bit more out here, I think would be
Mm,
better. But even now, at the very least, just cropping it. So if I just zoom in, that's going to be a little difficult. I can't crop easily in bridge here. But if the photo was just this section, something like
I see.
this, it could be just that would make it a bit stronger. Because overall, I think the concept is great. I think the most interesting contrast here in the photo is between her, right, and the
Yeah,
people over here, right?
yeah,
There's this
yeah.
kind of you know, these two things are balancing against each other as well. She's waiting, they're waiting, and the Osaka station lets you know where it is. So keeping this little red thing, I like this. This is kind of cool, but this empty area here is not needed. So that would be my main feedback. But overall, this is a cool shot, a very unique shot, interesting concept. Tell me about this photo. Where did you take this shot?
So I went to the island of Shikoku
Mm-hmm.
for a walk. So they invite us, my company, to introduce the Valley of Iya.
Mm.
And I saw this statue, and the leaves here, it's a Japanese maple. Will you say that? My Japanese maple?
Yeah.
I saw that on the hand, and I
Mm.
thought it was kind of cute and really Japanese, you know?
Oh yeah. Mm.
So I made the focus on that leaf, and I took a shoot, and yeah, it's kind of touristic picture, but
Mm.
yeah, I like it.
I think it's okay. Overall, I like this photo. I think it's a great picture. I love also the other things that are happening that are more subtle, because of course the leaf is really interesting. It's the main part of the picture and the hand. I also love, for example, this line right here, okay, and then this line here, these parts of the statue. They create these extra points of interest, right?
Mm,
And also, there's a kanji here, right?
yeah,
So my idea would be, again, it might not be better. Maybe this is the best shot, but I would love to see a version where you would step back a little bit. It's hard to draw this, but you would move the camera back and you would
yeah.
point the camera a little bit more in this direction. Okay?
Ah, I see. Yeah, yeah.
Okay? So that you know, so that there would be more of this in the frame, a little bit less of the black. You would still keep the whole hand here. I wouldn't ask you to cut this, so the frame could be like up to here, you know, and just to see a little bit more of this, just to create a little bit more of a counterpoint, because this is
I see.
obviously very interesting. So just
Yeah.
something that's like a secondary thing on the right side here.
Everything
Yeah.
inside here. I see. I see.
Okay. All right. But overall, really cool shot. I like this photo a lot. Very beautiful moment. So, what did you think about that photo critique, Pierre? Did you find that useful?
I thought it was really useful because sometimes when you're doing yourself photography,
Mm.
you don't really think. Sometimes you just shot. Sometimes you're lucky. Sometimes you try to do something,
Mm.
and it's I learned a lot of tips, especially in terms of composition.
Mm.
Sometimes it's not the thing like I'm taking too much time thinking, I'm
Mm.
just kind of try to have a moment and not really think about that. So yeah, it was very useful.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
find even for myself sometimes there are things that I do that work, but I'm not conscious of them. And I think it's important to become conscious of things, like the photo with the woman in the red dress. You said you did that kind of automatically, but now
Yes.
you're aware of those ideas, and I think you can apply them to your future photos as well. All right, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. And, you know, to be completely transparent, we are offering a service like this now on our website. So if you're interested in a photo critique, please feel free to check it out. There's a link in the description. And hopefully you can find it useful as well. And remember always, challenge your eye.